Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage. Welcome back to Cities Skylines. This is video 4. First of all, I'd like to apologise that the first 3 videos in this series didn't actually have any game sounds. Not a problem with the game, it was my own incompetence as I set up some of my audio capture devices incorrectly and didn't realise until I came to edit them together that we were missing the in-game audio. So once again, apologies for that. I know I do keep the in-game audio on generally quietly to begin with, but at least now you'll be able to hear that lovely piano jazz and all of the various construction sounds. So a couple of things that I want to do. First of all, we built this little intersection up here off the highway, which we're not using yet. We will be using that over here, but what I'd like to do, assuming we have the space, and we may not, it might be too close, what I want to do is go ahead and connect up a 4-lane road from here. It should automatically snap to that if we attempt it. Is it not going to allow us to do it? That's a little bit harsh. Maybe we need to go up a little first for it to allow us to do that. And be in the right spot. Yep, there. And we want to come down. Will it allow us to connect from there? Doesn't look like it's going to. That's a little bit of a pain. Maybe it's also a fact that this road is a little bit too long. We did have a few issues when trying to connect that road up, of course, initially. That was problematic and may well be what the cause of that is. It won't actually let me connect there, which is a shame. Would it let me build the connection off somewhere else? What about if I was to just try and use a 2-lane road? Would that allow me to do it? No, it certainly isn't happy with me doing that, is it? Let me just quickly pause. Go and see if we can fix this colossal mess that I made here in the first place. Let's just go ahead and bulldoze these little sections of road here where I went and screwed it all up royally. And we'll put in another road here. It needs to be a curved road. So we'll go from there. And if we go to there... Yeah, we can't quite get the connection that we need. Get them to join together. Let's also very quickly just get rid of the on-ramp and the off-ramp at this point. It'll make this a little bit easier. So let's try and sort of get this right if we can. Join it up into one piece. Very surprised. Right, that seems like it is more likely to work. So let's go back in and connect the ramps up as they should be. So we'll connect you to there. And it should be straight roads, really. We don't need the curve. We'll connect you up to there. Now that road is showing that... I mean, it acts like a 2-way road, which it shouldn't be, because obviously traffic shouldn't be able to come on in this direction. But you can't set these highway ramps to 1-way, which is quite strange. So what we want to try and do now is have another go at that dual lane road. Will it allow us to do it? Yes, it will. We are going to need to go down a little bit. And we are going to crash through somebody's factory, but there we go. Fantastic. So let's unpause. What we have now is a connection from the highway into the industrial area. And that's going to be really good because it means that anyone who wants to get into the industrial area from the highway isn't going to have to come through all the residential area. Now, it's actually saying that this particular road is not connected up, which is strange. Let's just go ahead and delete that because it seems to have an issue with it. And we'll go back into roads, get our highways, get our on-ramps, off-ramps. We'll rotate things around a little bit in order to try and see what we're doing. Try and line it up roughly. In fact, we're going to go from this direction because we'll try and go in the direction that the roads should be going. And we'll join it up down there. That should be fine now. In fact... it's now only showing it as a 1-way road, which is how it should be working. This road is showing in the wrong direction, however, because the traffic should be coming off in this direction. So let's go ahead. So it appears that these roads do actually work as a 1-way road. It just doesn't specify that. So we have to start from the end where the traffic is going to get on and then finish where the traffic is going to get off. And now that road is showing in the right direction and I'm happy it's not going to upset my OCD quite as much. Haven't seen anybody actually use that bit of the road yet. It doesn't mean that nobody will. It's probably just going to be completely ignored now. Oh no, there's somebody. There's like a random sort of scooter moped type thing. It's really difficult to read sometimes unless you can actually click on the follow link. Pause. Click. There we go. So this scooter's going to the Autumn residence. Also, and correct me if I'm wrong, but did that vehicle not actually get off the highway, go around the roundabout, and then go back onto the highway? Definitely there is some traffic coming out of the industrial area that is using that. Now, where are you going to go? Now, hopefully, if you're going right, you should be going around the roundabout, and you should be going down here on this side and joining the main carriageway. That is fantastic. It's working exactly the way it should be. And what we could go ahead and do is we could go and get some trees, and not sure if there's like a mass tree tool or whether we just have to plant individual trees, but just putting some trees and things around the area helps to reduce noise and reduce pollution, and generally makes everywhere look nice and pretty. There are some different roads you can get later on as well, which does help out with things. Yeah, I can't see any mass planting for trees at the moment, but maybe I'm missing something there. I know we've got parks and stuff, but... well, that'll do for now. I mean, that's certainly working the way it should be. Now, we have got more call for residential, and I did say I wanted to build some residential up over here. I still do. What I might do, if we've got space to do it, is just take a normal road over here, 2-lane road, and build down from here, and it will indeed let us do it. So let's go ahead and build this road down over here. So we're trying to get away from using this grid thing a little bit. Let's go and have a look at some of the freeform roads that we can do here. The freeform roads do curve in some sort of interesting directions, but let's go and try and make an estate that isn't just completely ugly. I mean, it is still going to look terrible, don't get me wrong. I mean, certainly using straight roads and using grids is the most efficient use of space. Maybe that curve's a little bit too tight for it, yeah. And then we're probably going to want to come back at some point and connect things back up. That seems fine. And then we don't really want to come back down onto the highway from there. We've got a lot of space in the middle that we're not using. That's fine. I mean, we can always build the occasional extra street across in the middle, and these things will use up some of that unused space. That's not a problem. Do we want in any way to try and connect this up to the highway? It's a little bit strange. You see, this is the reason why I don't like this particular type of junction. It doesn't look that efficient. Say I'm travelling this way on the highway, and I want to get back on the other side because I've missed my turning or just decide I need to go back the other way. I've got to get off at this exit ramp, and then I have to leave the carriageway completely, and I can't get back on this side unless I go all the way down here into the city, go around, come back up, and then I can get off this slip road and head back in this direction. Whereas with this type of setup, all I have to do is get off at the slip road, go around the roundabout, and then get back on the other slip road and head back in the other direction. It seems to make a lot more sense to me. Now, as I was saying, building things in a grid is a good use of space. It's certainly very efficient, but it was also a fantastic way to cause lots of traffic problems, because what you end up with when you have a grid is you have lots of intersections. And intersections is where the traffic comes to a stop, because everyone's either having to give way at stop signs or stop at traffic lights. So it's much better if you have as few intersections as possible, hence why I'm trying to go for this kind of design up here. Now, we've only got one major road in and out of this borough. I'm concerned about maybe adding another road in that direction, just to give us a bit more space. Now, it would be nice if we could also connect this residential area up over here somewhere to the main freeway, although we'd only be able to connect it up really in one direction, which isn't really all that efficient. But we could certainly do that. I mean, it's possible. We could just have this exit ramp connecting people up to the freeway. But only being able to access it from one direction does seem a little bit derpy. But let's go ahead and try it anyway and see if it works. We could make this a one-way road, of course. It would technically have to be. So that's going to be a one-way road that will connect down into this area here. And then how would we get back out of here? I guess we'd technically have to have another one-way road that connected over here somehow. That's not going to work too easily. We can't create a slip... well, I guess we could. I guess we could just go and create a slip road out of here that leads back on to the highway. That would make a lot of sense. Technically, this should have been a slip road, but it does give us some room for a little bit of additional housing. What I think we will do, though, is I think that's actually going to be a commercial zone. And then pretty much all of this is going to be housing. It's going to take forever and a day to paint all of that. So we're going to use the big brush tool and paint as much of this in as possible. We'll just go around the middle bits for a start. So that should be enough right there. Let's just go ahead and get the fill tool. I think we'll fill that bit in as well. And we'll just do any of these little bits that I missed with the brush tool, just to make sure the areas are all full. And yeah, let's go ahead and do those bits. Now, we are going to need power. We are going to need water. So we'll make sure we've got all of those hooked up, because we don't have any water coming out over here at all. We might as well just follow the pipes along that we already have. And we can go a little bit further north with that. I'm still going to call this north because it seems like it should be north. A bit too far down. That's a bit too far up. That's better. Let's go and do that. Should have another one probably about there. Right, that's all of that area covered. Now, we are short on power. Well, we're not short on power, but we don't actually have any power connected up. So let's do this. Can we go across the highway? Not easily. So let's just go straight across here. We should be able to go across the highway. It's just trying to find a place where those sort of pylons can avoid the road, but that should be done there. Now, we may need more power because we are actually going to be putting more buildings down, and that is going to cost us in the long run. Now, can we actually have specialised industry D-zone office zones? We can't have any of these yet. We will be able to get high density commercial and residential and stuff like that, and that will be really good. We do want to try and get oil industry up here. I don't think we can do that just yet. If we just go into zoning, no, we still don't have the oil industry yet. So I don't know if there's anything specifically we need to hit before we can get that, but we will see. So let's just go ahead and create a district, and it's just going to be, well, normal housing district, I suppose. Let's use the big brush, because all of this is going to be one district, and it will cover this area here, and probably a little bit here. So this is Thornton Heights. Let's not right-click and do what I usually do and screw all that up. These houses here don't have power either. Well, these aren't the houses. This is the commercial. So let's just move that across for the time being. So we're not making a huge deal of power right now. We might need to go and put in another one or two of those turbines. We've already got 2 power plants. We don't have any option for a better power plant yet. What do we need for this? We actually need a population of 5,500. We're getting close to that. It might actually be worth not building any more of these turbines for the time being. The list does go on a little bit further. I think later on we can actually get a nuclear power plant, which would be brilliant. So let's just boost the game speed up a bit. We won't build any more of these. We'll wait until we can build the better power plant. We only need to get up to 5,500, which I think we can do nice and easily. We don't have any schools up here or anything like that, education or fire or health. So let's go ahead and do that. We definitely want to get at least a high school up here. So let's go ahead and drop in a high school. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a health centre. And having a fire department up here somewhere probably isn't a bad idea either. I'm also guessing we're going to need to have a bus route, because we don't actually have any bus routes up here. So let's go ahead and try and put in a couple of stops that will go around most of the estate. Now, can we actually bring that bus down onto the other side? Yes, it can go around the highway. So we can bring it down to where would be a good place to be. Maybe this sort of major intersection down here. Well, of course, that will cause a lot of traffic. Let's just sort of go here, and then we'll bring it back up and have another stop there, and we will rejoin there. There we go. That's not necessarily the most effective route, but it certainly will lead to us being able to get a few buses moving around. So everyone there seems happy. This might be a nice little housing area. In fact, before we use up all this housing area, why don't we go and see if we've got room to put in like a park or something like that, and see if we can really increase the land value of this area. The parks are quite large, and it doesn't help that I've used such a sort of a strange shape. It makes it more difficult to put something this sort of size in. It does have to be roadside. So, I mean, we could literally just dump it in here and kill a load of the housing off. It seems a little bit stupid, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. So there we go. So we've got a nice big park in the middle of the heights there, and that should make people happy. There, look. I love the new parks. Thanks to the mayor, I can take my family to the park and have a nice picnic. Yeah, when you get home, you're going to find out your house is gone. That's the only real problem there. So what else? We do have some call for commercial still, as well as a little bit more industry. We don't have a lot of commercial over here. This is an off-ramp, so we can't put any zoning there. We could go and have a little bit of commercial. I guess we could go ahead and make most of this commercial. That wouldn't be a bad idea. All of that stuff on the outside of the road. Don't want to go too overboard with that. Is there anything over here that is unzoned? Yes, that I was saving for industry. Let's go ahead and make that commercial as well. So we'll soon get some stuff built there. We're making $4.5 grand a week. That's not too bad. We should be able to pay off some of these loans, actually. Can we pay off the original one? Or, oh, we've already paid it off. It obviously pays that back. Pays that back automatically. Yep, so we are the loan is actually going down. We are paying it off bit by bit. This one will be paid off not too far from now. So everything seems to be going quite well. Almost at that 5,000 population mark, so we'll be able to get the better power plant soon. So how are we doing with these specialist buildings? We still haven't got any of them unlocked yet, so that might take a little while. Let's have a look at some of our demographics here. How are our what's our pollution like? As you can see, a lot of pollution here from the industrial area. A lot of pollution running downstream from the sewer outlet, which is not really surprisable. Trying to remember how to tilt the camera. I think it's end. Yep, there we go. So yeah, there's a lot of pollution running downstream right now, which is not necessarily a great thing. Let's have a little look. What else have we got? Wind doesn't really matter to me at the moment. Housing levels. Do we have what we would consider to be nice housing? So it's the darker green. I'm hoping this will become a nice area. Let's have a look at health. The health doesn't seem too bad. I think we've got most of the place covered. What about crime? Because we don't really have many police stations. In fact, I think we only have the one. Looks like we're getting a few fires over here, which is potentially problematic. And what about garbage collection? How's that doing? Landfill usage is at 81% and the incinerator status is in the red. I'm struggling to actually read that writing there. That's a little bit difficult. It's on a very light blue background and I can't see that at all. Again, though, that might be something that gets fixed before the game releases. But yeah, there are a few people complaining that they're not having their garbage collected. I'm not too sure what we can do about that at the landfill. We could go and empty the building into another facility, relocate the building. So what do we want to do with this landfill? Garbage trucks in use 15 of 15. So, okay, so maybe it doesn't have an incinerator. Maybe that's the issue. Incineration plant. Yeah, we don't have the incinerator yet. We need a population of 8,000 before we can do that. The landfill site is very, very close to being full, though. So we do really need to keep our eye on that, or we're going to get into some issues. So I think we might need to have another... Well, crime is low, so I don't think we do need to have a police station when the crime is that low overall. What's the land value like? So that's a little bit difficult to understand. So it goes grey to sort of medium blue and then down to a lighter blue. So the lighter blue is higher land value. I'm hoping this is going to all be good land value. Now, yeah, these guys don't appear to be actually having their trash collected. They seem to be a little bit unhappy. The garbage trucks are probably all at capacity. Let's go ahead for the time being then, and we will put another landfill down over here if we can. Will it allow us to? I'm on the wrong thing, of course. That's why we want a landfill. I was going to use some of this for industrial, and I still will. But let's go ahead and put that landfill at the end of the road. That should help out with that. But I really do want to get some oil industry going. Build roads and zone next to them. Yeah, we know about that bit. Now, come on. You must be getting your trash collected now. It should be easy enough. And you can see we are starting to get a little bit of a bottleneck here because we're getting a lot of traffic that is leaving the highway and trying to go into the estate. But it's not really getting stuck at traffic lights. It is having to stop and wait for some of the traffic that is coming around the roundabout. But most of it is flowing quite freely. Oddly enough, I'm not sure why traffic isn't just getting off here and going in this direction. It does seem a little bit strange that they're trying to get off at this busier junction, which is a little bit strange, but not completely unwarranted. What we could do as well, just to keep on with not making, not necessarily always making straight roads, is we could go ahead and get a... Yeah, we'll use the free draw tool, and we'll just bring a road out over here and just connect those up like that. Just so there's a little bit of a extra way around. I know that there's some pointless U-turns being made up over here, but that's fine. We will be connecting more stuff to that later on, so I'm all happy with that. I do find it can be a little bit strange in games like this because you often start off with a lot of the buildings locked, and obviously you unlock them by progression and building a bigger city, which is fine. It does make sense, but then you do get to the problem where you think, well, if I could actually build some of this stuff earlier on, my city wouldn't get into this state. This place has been completely burned down. The fire service have not done their job correctly. How is the fire service actually? How are we doing? It looks like you should be able to cope. There's quite a bit of fire hazard going on. Most of it is the industrial. There's a little bit over here that doesn't appear to be covered all that well. Garbage is definitely piling up. Yeah, the new garbage handling facility with better road connections. Well, we do have a new garbage facility. We could empty the building into another facility because it is 98% full. Now, does that just empty it into the other landfill? How does that work? I think we're just moving trash from one to the other. I'm not 100% sure exactly how that works. Once we can get an incinerator going, that will make life a lot easier. Let's get out of this sort of white screen here. And, oh, no, didn't want to do that. Let's not hit all the wrong buttons. What screen am I in? There we go. So we've actually got a few people moving out at the moment, which isn't ideal. We've got a lot more people asking for residential, so let's go in and make much of this residential where we can. Probably would have been better just using the paint tool here, because these are all little separate bits. So let's go ahead and do that. So all of this wants to be residential, all the way along the back, all the way along here. I mean, come on now, there's plenty of residential here. Obviously, we don't want residential too close to the where the industry is going to be. Let's just make sure we fill in that last little block there. And we can do these ones as well. So hopefully we should get a lot more people moving in now. Once we get up to a decent population, then we'll be able to get that better power station. Now, what are we going to build in this corner over here? I guess we should have a quick look and see if there's any resources there. Doesn't appear that there is. There's a little bit of forest, so we could have some forestry industry over in this corner. And bear in mind, we can actually build, we can actually buy another plot of land if we need to, because there's some ore around as well. Maybe we should have a little bit of forestry industry going on over here. We don't have a huge call for industry at the moment, so maybe that's not all that important, but having some forestry industry over there could be good. And we should definitely buy some more land. So let us think about actually having some industry over here. Now, we could go ahead and build our little sort of junction again, which I probably should do. We're getting quite a lot of traffic here trying to get into the city. So I've already got one of my first traffic problems. There's a lot of people trying to get in this way. Not too sure why. Maybe we should have a 2-lane road connecting on, and let's go for straight roads here. Maybe it should connect on here and potentially try and take some of this traffic elsewhere. Not too sure where, and I appreciate this is a very derpy road configuration, but I'm just trying to find a way that we can possibly get some of the traffic to go around. Can we make that a tiny bit longer and connect it up here? That's not going to be straight, is it? Let's keep going with it. There we go. Let's go and do that then. And then we can put a little bit more industrial around that area. Like I said, there isn't a huge call for the industrial at the moment, but that should be fine. So let's go ahead and do that. I want to try and do that forestry industry because I'm not too sure how to set it up, but that's probably something that I will look at in the next video. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and a perfect timing to end the video. We've actually hit our next landmark of 5,500 people, which is great because we now get the oil industry specialization. We can try that first. Some new policies, including a heavy traffic ban. Lots of new road types, so we can upgrade our roads to the ones that have sound barriers and trees and grass verges, which reduce pollution and noise. We've got police headquarters, we've got a fire station, we've got an oil power plant and a hospital. So we've got some really nice stuff we can have a look at, but we'll do that in the next video. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you are still enjoying City Skylines, and I'll see you next time. Until then, goodbye for now.